My name is Joseph Sim, and this is my story of how I became a Singaporean. I was born in Singapore, but I was not born as a Singaporean. Well, this is my certificate of Singapore citizenship, which formally made me a Singaporean on 18 January 1983. Typically, Singaporeans born in Singapore to at least one Singaporean parent would not possess this document. This is my story why becoming a Singaporean so matters to me. My parents were Malaysians who migrated to Singapore at that time. My father was from Johor and my mother was from Malacca. I had two younger sisters and they too were born as permanent residents of Singapore. In a way, we were neither Malaysians nor Singaporeans. Life was tough when we were not Singaporeans. We lived in a rented public apartment situated in a crime-ridden neighborhood. The most unforgettable routine that bothered me the most was always the time to pay my school fees. In those days, the school fees for primary schools consisted of two components. Tuition fees, I think it was free for a Singaporean, but $3.50 for non-Singaporean. Miscellaneous fees, $6.50 for a Singaporean and $13 for non-Singaporean. However, I was not born as a Singaporean, so my parents had to pay about $16.50 a month just for me to attend school. I don't remember ever receiving financial assistance at that period of schooling, since I was not a citizen. Note, the figures might be slightly inaccurate as they were so long ago. Let me run this little multiplication working for my educational cost. Every month, I must pay $16.50 for my school fees. In a year, that amounts to $198. I have two sisters, and my family would have to pay $594 for the three of us to attend school. For a typical Singaporean family like mine, the child has only to pay $6.50, and for 1 year, that will be $78. If the child has two siblings, that amount is $234, a difference of $360. This was a very large sum of money at that time. Every week in a certain year, my parents would take us to the Immigration and Registration Department, situated at Empress Place. Now, this building is repurposed to be the current Asian Civilization Museum. We were there to apply for our citizenship. The process was difficult since my parents were not highly educated, but they were determined to be Singaporeans. I always enjoyed having wonton noodles at Empress Place Food Centre. I enjoyed looking at the river beneath me while enjoying my noodles. Yes, a section of the food centre was built over the river. However, Singapore River at that time was terribly filthy and smelly. I don't think you would want to swim in it during the 1980s. And one day, we received a notification through mail that we would become Singaporeans on 18 January 1983. It was a Tuesday, and I was happy to skip school for this special moment. When my turn was called, I went into a room, raised my right hand, and took a solemn oath, our national pledge to become a citizen of Singapore. It was a solemn moment, though I did not feel the joy immediately as I took the pledge. I think I was more eager to have my wonton noodles again than to rejoice in being a citizen. However, the happiness of being a citizen came when I paid my school fees for the ending year of 1983. Remember that I was very appalled at the fees my parents must pay for November and December? Well, I was a secondary 1 student in 1983, and I attended school in the afternoon shift from 1:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. That would be $99 for my siblings and I. However, for that year, I only paid $10. My mother gave me a $10 note to pay for my school fees. I was so happy that I checked my wallet to ensure that the note was there several times, in fact, many times. When I paid the fee to my teacher at the last period of the year, I was so elated that I really felt I was a true Singaporean. Even writing and narrating now on that event brought joy to me. After my whole family had become full-fledged Singaporeans, life took wonderful turns. We were able to apply and acquire a 4-room flat in 1985. I managed to do sufficiently well and got admitted to National University of Singapore, NUS. My younger sister managed to graduate as a teacher and taught in primary schools. Life was totally changed then. If I would not have become a Singaporean, I don't think I would attend NUS, as the fees would be too unaffordable for me. Life would have been very difficult and much different now. Whenever we celebrated National Day, many would comment with exhilarating joy how they feel about being a Singaporean. If I could have an opportunity to voice, I would be different and brag how good it is to become a Singaporean. For my journey in becoming one is not easy. I truly treasure my opportunity to become one good citizen of Singapore. This is the end of the story, and thank you for listening. The end.